if you are in a rural area, just how sad your broadband might be. But this is a way of actually assessing your broadband, and you install a little piece of software. It doesn't monitor what you do. It's the technical thing it does is ping. So it's like sending a signal out and seeing how quick it can get to the other end. On your tables, there's a little green card, little pile of green cards, and the URL to download the software and get involved, and a bit more information is on that card. Obviously, the more information Ofcom have on how broadband is going in rural areas, the more they can do about it. I think that's all I have to say.
Can I just ask you to raise a hand if you'd heard of Healthwatch Wiltshire before this meeting? Right. I'd better say a bit about it then, hadn't I? Because we obviously haven't got across as much as we would like to and as much as we hope to in the near future. We are the latest version of the consumer champion for health and care services in this area. There's one in every county and every local authority area. We are also a watchdog for the quality of health and care services. So we are the successor, if you like, to an organisation that some of you may have come across, the Wiltshire Involvement Network, commonly called WIN for short. If you didn't know that, you might have been involved with one of the patient and public involvement forums that existed before WIN came along. And before that, there was the Community Health Council. Now that is the one that's most like what we are, because we have some of the powers that the old Community Health Council had, but the other two didn't. So in finding out how to represent the people of Wiltshire and their concerns about health and care services, we will obviously be collecting lots of views and experiences and information. We're not set up to take up individual problems or complaints. All the health and care providers have their own complaint systems, and that's the way you need to go. And there is a health ombudsman, so you know there are appeal procedures, if you like, if you're not satisfied with that. What we do want to do, though, is to capture patterns of experience, so that if we understand from you, from people, that there are a lot of concerns about a particular provider, like one of the local hospitals, or a local GP, or a local care home, or any provider of services, then we want to know about that, because we will take up that issue with the people who have the power to change it or improve it. Therefore, we are also set up to be what's called a critical friend of the providers. And to do that, we have to have a good working relationship with all the providers. So we already have established good working relationships with the 3 acute hospitals, with the Clinical Commissioning Group, with National Health Service England, who commission quite a lot of the services, in addition to those commissioned by the Clinical Commissioning Group. And we're in the process of developing also, of course, Wiltshire Council, who provide the social care services in the most cases. And of course, Great Western Hospital also manages the community health services. So we're working with all those people. We have a seat through our chair, Christine Graves, on the Health and Wellbeing Board, which brings together all those people, all those organisations. We have a seat at that table, we have a vote at that table. So we are in a position to voice concerns to that top forum, if you like, that decides on strategy. You heard about the JSA consultation that's coming up. That joint strategic assessment used to be called the Joint Strategic Needs Assessment. that is a process which helps to shape the services in the future. And so if you can come to that and you're interested in this field, do come to that consultation on the 2nd of April, because that is an opportunity to have your voice heard there.
Thank you very much for allowing me to come this evening, John. And it's a really, really good opportunity to talk to you about a legacy for Wiltshire. How many of you can remember 2012 and all the activities that went on in 2012 and the impact that it had on Wiltshire as a county? I'm sure if you think back, I know that the Olympic torch didn't actually come through Malmesbury, but I know some of you actively did get involved in actually going to see it close by. And also, I think most of you would have been involved in some way in the Queen's Diamond Jubilee events and some of the celebrations around that. But the impact that it had on Wiltshire was quite amazing, because it really, really did hit our local economy and boost it. It also did really well in getting a lot more people across the whole of the county far more active and healthy, which was great. And then the other thing it did, which you can't underestimate, was it brought lots of different communities together and lots of partners working together. And I know in Malmesbury, you've been exemplary in actually continuing that work together and doing some really, really good stuff across your community area. So this evening, what I'd like to do is just take you through a very brief update. I appreciate we're behind time, so I'll try and keep it as slick as I can. Just to talk about some of the things that we've done since 2012. So throughout the whole of last year, just a few things that we did, but most importantly, some of the things that are happening now in 2014 and the opportunities that that presents to this area board and to the rest of Wiltshire. Okay, in 2012, we did quite a lot to continue to support the local economy, because I think you'll all agree it's absolutely anything that we can do to keep our economy buoyant is very positive for the whole of Wiltshire. Some of the things we did, we supported big business events, one in Salisbury, and also we held another one in Trowbridge. The one we held in Trowbridge was actually completely oversubscribed. We ran out of space, and we also know that lots of businesses who wanted to participate couldn't. So that's helping to sort of stem our thinking for this year on what we could do to make that even bigger and better. The other thing we did, I don't know, did any of you visit Hudson's Field as part of the torch celebrations? Yes, okay, Steve, well done you. Well, on Hudson's Field, which was in Salisbury, where the torch came and stayed overnight, we actually tried to make that quite interactive for the whole of the public and turn it into an event. And one of the things we did was hosted a Wealth of Wiltshire fair, which was a marquee that was totally packed out with local suppliers and start-up businesses who wanted to actually market themselves to the general public. Lots and lots of those people that took stands in there completely sold out and was really, really successful. So what we decided to do was to continue with that and actually host Wealth of Wiltshire fairs. And all of you, please tell me you've all been to see the new atrium at County Hall. Have you all been to see the new atrium at County Hall? Yes, okay. Well, that space lends itself really nicely to actually hosting exactly that type of event, where there's lots of public go in there, the library's in there, there's a big cafe and restaurant. And what we did was we tested one, they came in, and there was a guy with the most amazing cupcakes who sold out by 10 o'clock, so all the staff came down and bought them all. So he came back the next time with an even bigger stall and sold out by 12 o'clock. And so it goes on. But basically what it proved was that really, if you can get these startup businesses into the right forum with the right audiences there, they can start to actually get their awareness raised and get their business underway. So lots of good stuff. The other thing we've been doing is making connections with businesses through business breakfasts and business events to really get them connecting. And also we supported the first ever Christmas market in Salisbury, which is now ongoing and was a huge success, competing very nicely with Winchester. What we're doing this year is a little bit more of that. We want to do more Wealth of Wiltshire, but we want to take them around the county. So if any of you feel here there's a great venue where we could actually bring local startup businesses, producers or suppliers, and actually work with you to do that, we'd really welcome that opportunity, because they want to showcase what they have to offer, and it helps us to boost our local economy. The other thing we're doing, which is quite unique, and I will just sort of spend a couple of minutes talking about this. You can probably all remember that in 2012 we had a few local Wiltshire athletes that actually became medal winners. And I was in Bradford-on-Avon last week talking at their area board, and they're really, really proud of their gold letterbox there, following Ed McKeever's obviously gold win. And one of the things we realised was that a lot of these local athletes that we have, and we have many across Wiltshire that are elite sporting stars that need some support. And what they need is just a little bit of sponsorship or a little bit of help to get to access their training, to access competitions, or to buy the kit that they need. And we came up with a cunning plan that actually, if you connect businesses with these sporting stars, what you end up with is the business getting profiled because the sporting star will wear their name and brand, and the sporting star will get the money that they need to help them with their journey to the next Olympics or Paralympics, which obviously in Rio is in 2 years' time. So what we decided to do was we're going to host what we call a business and sporting dinner that brings the two together with motivational speakers from both worlds of sport and business, and that the money that we raise from that, and it will be held in the atrium at County Hall, the money that we raise will go into foundation pot for these future athletes in our county so that we can adopt them and follow their journey. And what's happened so far is already we have in excess of £20,000 going into that pot. So we know it's got the potential to raise even more money through elite raffle and elite auction that night. So if any of you are interested and haven't already connected to that event and would like to, then we do have a few places left at the dinner. But the other thing we want to do, and this is a bit of throwing down the gauntlet to areas really, is to say that this year we want to launch a big pledge. And a big pledge is about a community commitment. And it could come from an individual, so it might be just something you want to do, you want to pledge. It could come from a group or a team of people, or it could come from a whole community or a community area board. And what we want to do is look at things that will make a real difference to people's health and general well-being. And just to give you a few ideas on that. That could be from anything to do with what we call traditional health and activity, whether it's swimming, walking, losing weight, stop smoking, that sort of thing. Or it could be more about people's general well-being. And don't underestimate that bit, because that's about, there could be people that have an interest and a shared interest, but they don't know who to get together with. And they would like an opportunity to bring a group of people together to actually share that interest and have time socially. It could be something as simple as saying, we know in our community there's lots of people who are quite isolated, who don't get the opportunity to come together. Let's host tea once a month or lunch once a week or whatever. Or it could be something for young people, a concert where they come together or an event, anything at all. But it's all about communities feeling that real sense of belonging and well-being. And really, the big pledge is about what will you do in your community. I went to Bradford-on-Avon as the first area board last week and took away 3 pledges from that area board. So no pressure, guys, okay? So at the moment, they're winning, but closely behind them, I went to Pewsey, not last night, but the night before, and they've come up with 2 pledges already. Although we're not actually launching it to the 2nd of April, the reason why I'm so pleased to come and talk to you in January right now is to give you that little bit of thought about this year, what you might do, and how you think maybe you could do something in your communities that would contribute to that pledge. So really, it's that challenge to you.